Hello and welcome, Pocket Watch here, and it's about time to read some more of the story of Umineko. So yeah, I won't be taking your time and let's just jump straight into the game, shall we? Last time we had, you know, George confessing his love to Shannon basically, and we continue from that on. Yeah, she was kinda forced to do the job that Golda was supposed to do, so that sucks. But yeah, let's go. She began to hear tumultuous voices of the family discussion coming from the dining hall. Someone was speaking at great length, only to be interrupted by someone else. This second person also began to speak in a very long, drawn-out fashion until yet another person interrupted. That kept on repeating. It was as though their displeasure was seeping out through their voices. She had been told to go to the guest house, so it would be bad if Grouse discovered her. Yeah, that would be pretty fucked up. Because at this point they would think like she's actually a spy or she has something to do with the letter. And that can be bad. That can be good. Also my microphone is too loud. I have no fucking idea what the hell happened. Thinking this, Shannon dashed past the dining hall. Then she went along a prearranged road through the dark mansion, checking that all the locks were secure. She walked down the hall, checking each window. There were no humans on Rekonjima, other than those connected to the family, so locking up didn't really serve much of a purpose. No one had been in the habit to locking up at the Ushiramiya head family, at least not until Natsuhi had scolded them for being careless. The metal fixtures on the window were ice cold, and as she checked them one by one, the glow in her heart seems to calm down. Oh, golden butterflies? What does it mean? At that time, she thought she saw something twinkling across the hall. Twinkling? How could anything be twinkling through the darkness of the hall? She figured she must have been imagining it, but she still held her breath. Grasping a curtain, she fearfully gazed down the hall. However, other than the occasional crack of thunder brightening the hallway, she was unable to glimpse any flicker again. It must have been her imagination after all. Maybe her heart was so agitated that she's been seen something that didn't even exist. Shannon went back to checking the windows. However, a certain unnerving memory was resurrected in the back of her mind. It was Ghost Story, which had been passed down among the servants who served the Ushiremiya head family. The mansion had two different masters, one of the day and one of the night. Beatrice, the master of the night, would sometimes fly around the mansion in the form of sparkling butterflies. Okay. So this is not just a story. That was the story. Come to think of it, didn't Kanon-kun once said he'd seen it with his own eyes? Though he got sulky when I said he must have imagined it and refused to believe him. Well, you have kinda proof here. Could it be possibly true? The roar of thunder gave no answer. Okay, so she wasn't catched. That's good. Okay, going back to guest house. wonder if Beatrice is tied to the mansion and cannot travel to the guest house or something, maybe? And as I said, like, videos before, I don't think Beatrice have physical form yet. That's why Epitaph says about, like, her reviving or something, you know? That's what I think. But I have to admit, Beatrice is pretty good looking beauty. Kinda have smug on her face, but yeah, she looks good. So they're arguing. What are these transitions? This is weird. Are we getting like perspective of like, you know, perspective of Beatrice or something? Ah. Yeah, this is definitely weird. That was weird transition. That's already very interesting episode. Round of the Witch and Reasoning. Wait, did we just pass the episode 1? Because first was a Rondo of Witch and Golden Watch, right? So yeah, hooray! Episode 2! Unless it's not. The second day, so yeah, okay. October 5th. 86. So we got a date. I don't remember if we had date in the first episode. So whole story takes time in 4 days, I think, because there were 4 episodes in the start. Like many. I don't remember. I'm usually just clicking, you know, load the game. Yeah, actually, if there's a second episode, then we can, in the next video, read what's, you know, like, the description of the second episode. Yeah, I'm interested in this. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it now. It's very early in the game, so I will just save it. Yeah, and... Oh my god, wrong button. Let's just go and check about what the second episode is. No, wait. It's not unlocked yet. Wait. Wait, what? I can unlock it by clicking? Remove the lock on the episode. If you do not progress through the episode in order, you will probably be confused and lose interest. We strongly recommend that you only those who played the previous episodes use this feature. Wait, so I can unlock the episodes? And play them like in wrong order? And what episode is this? Is this like secret episode? Okay. That's new to me, I guess. I don't know why I haven't seen this before, but I'm not going to use it. And apparently this is still episode first. Okay. Sorry for delay. That was my mistake. I was pretty sure changing the name like indicates under episode, but I was wrong. So, anyway, we are in the second day of the story. So the story is not going to happen in 4 days, if each day is not the episode. Okay, Genji tightened his bow tie and looked outside through a crack in the curtains. Maybe the rain had died down a tiny bit since the previous night. But the thick rain clouds didn't seem like they would be letting any trace of the morning sun get by. The morning was dim and far from refreshing.
やはり今日いっぱいはやみそうにないか。
お待たせしました、源氏様。
Genji seems kinda troubled by that this is the only last day of rain. I wonder why. Kanon finished checking his appearance and exited the washroom. On their normal schedule, it was rare for anyone to have to suffer going straight from a midnight shift to an early morning shift. They were on special schedule for 2 days of the family conference. However, unless the typhoon passed today, the relatives' stay on this island would last until tomorrow. Kanon thought it best to be prepared for the special schedule to last an extra day. The two of them left the guest house, opening their umbrellas. The rose garden had been devastated by the wind and rain on the previous night. Even though they would spend several days making it beautiful to welcome the guests, one stormy night was enough to ruin it. Kanon sighed. The two headed for the mansion. They were supposed to meet up with Goda and prepare breakfast. Goda was such perfectionist that had probably already woken up and was probably already preparing a breakfast as exquisite and elegant as glasswork. They reached the overhang by the entrance to the mansion and folded up their umbrellas. Genji took a bundle of several keys from his pocket and unlocked the front door. The Ushiremiya Familia mansion was the only thing on Rokkenjima, so in the past they hadn't been in the habit of locking up. However, Natsuki had ordered that the mansion be locked up from midnight to early morning. Even since then, unlocking the door in the early morning had become part of servants' morning shift. This task has been given to Genji and Kanon, so that Goda could start preparing breakfast as soon as he woke up. Silence had fallen in the mansion, giving the impression that the mansion itself was still asleep.
では、朝の仕事を始めよう。
はい。
The two of them split up and began opening the curtains through the mansion. If the curtains stayed closed, the mansion would remain enveloped in faint darkness, as though it was still trapped in the previous night. Following a well-rehearsed procedure, Kanon went around the mansion, opening the curtains for one window after another, without having to retrace his steps once. This is pretty efficient. Well, if you work like 10 years in one place, then I would assume that's just normal to be efficient like that. This is just like in any work. The longer you do, then the better you get in it. Even with this horrible weather, drawing the curtains made it feel just a little bit like morning. While doing that, he passed in front of the kitchen. Even though he hadn't smelled anything yet, his stomach started itching for some Goda priced cooking.
おはようございます。
He tried to greet Goda, who should have been getting breakfast ready, but Goda was nowhere to be seen. The kitchen was darkly lit, and not only were the curtains not open, but the fan wasn't even running. It was still cold, without any trace of fire being lit, so of course there was no sign of breakfast being made either. Though it would have been inexcusable, perhaps Goda had overslept. Even servants are only human. They sometimes sleep in and show up late. In the rare case that such happens, it's part of servants' code to hide the unsightly scene before anyone noticed, smoothly covering it up. And make sure the family never even realize that anything has gone wrong. Okay, I'm a little bit afraid because we don't know where Shannon went later. And Golda is nowhere to be seen. I wonder if it happened to both of them or something. Also, now I think about it, I wonder, I hope that Rudolph is still alive. You know, he said he might be killed. I don't know if it was like just his imagination, but yeah. I feel unsafe at this point, to be honest, in the story. But let's see. Sorry, I had to drink some water. Cannon took the receiver of the phone that had been fitted to the wall and dialed the number for the extension line in the servant's sleeping room. He couldn't hear the characteristic sound of dial tone. Fuck, so they lost communication as well. Cannon tried picking up the receiver again, but even so, he couldn't hear the usual dial phone. He tried dialing again, but it had no apparent effect. Could the lightning last night have damaged some machine, breaking the extension line? The equipment in this mansion was all worn out. Cannon fully understand that. Even the smallest thing could have caused it to break down. He gave up trying to wake Golda with the phone and dashed over the servant's sleeping room. How long has it been since I stopped sleeping and started lazily staring up at the ceiling? That vague sense of awakening was part of Natsuhi's usual morning experience. Okay, so we have now first perspective from Natsuhi. This episode is jumping around characters pretty weirdly, to be honest. This is a very weird episode. She always slept lightly, and she couldn't sleep at all without medicine. To Natsuhi, sleep was definitely not a happy thing. When she looked outside, she saw that it was still pouring. If she hadn't sensed a tiny amount of light, she might have mistakenly thought that it was still a previous night. She herself was one of the hosts, so she mustn't wake up later than her guests. Urging herself on, she raised on her body, which still hadn't completely recovered from yesterday's weirdness. No one would torment her as long as she remained inside this room. And her headache wouldn't get any worse here. This room was the only place she could find peace. So when she left, it meant returning to the world where her husband's siblings keep trying to stab each other in the back. In that case, wouldn't it be better to just stay locked up in this room forever? Don't kill yourself, please. That ridiculous notion brought a bitter smile to Natsuhi's face. She was starting to sound like Kinzo. Yeah, when I think about it now, yeah, kinda, when you mention it. Though she often complained about Kinzo staying locked up in his room and refusing to attend to everyone else, the truth was that she longed to do the same. Natsuhi gave her head a small shake, and her fantasy was replaced by the reawakening of her usual headache. When she reached for the doorknob, trying to leave the room, her hand touched the scorpion charm that she had hung from it before going to sleep the previous night. It was Maria's charm, which Natsuhi had received from Jessica. Didn't Jessica say something about it having the power to repel magic, telling her to hang it from her doorknob? Maybe it was thanks to the charm that at least this room had been protected from the malice of her husband's siblings. As she thought this, her mood began to get a little more cheerful.
ジェシカのおかげで少しはゆっくり眠れたということかしら。
That's cool, yeah. When you receive something and you don't necessarily have to believe it's doing something bad, just the thought that someone tries to help you, that's really comfortable thing. Then Natsuki remembered. That's right. Last night, I promised Jessica that I would give her a charm of my own in exchange for this one, didn't I? Natsuki opened a drawer on her dresser and took out an antique accessory case that she had treasured when she was a child. Inside, there was a many small object that Natsuki had thought were valuable at the time. From amidst those, she pulled out a red pouch. Inside was a small, round mirror about 10 centimeters across. It looked quite old, but the design on the back of the mirror was very ornate, and it felt like something with historical value. At the very least, it seems much more authentic than the other charm, which looked like plastic scorpion keychain. Yeah, but she gave it to you with her heart, you know? It doesn't matter how it looks. She had heard that that was a spiritual mirror for warding off evil spirits, and she had been given it specially by her grandmother when her grandfather's mementos had been distributed. It had been believed, since long ago, that a strange power resided in this mirror. Perhaps people thought it could reflect calamity and malice in the same way it reflected light. Natsuki returned the mirror to its pouch. It would probably be a fitting object to hand over to Jessica. Just as she was placing it in her pocket, the sound of someone knocking at the door suddenly echoed through the room.
はい。
おはようございます、奥様。源氏でございます。早朝から申し訳ございません。
今行きます。何事ですか？
No servant had ever come to her this early in the morning, nor they had come to wake her in person. Perhaps something bad had happened. Yeah, that's my worry. Like, why it's so silent here? These transitions were so weird. Also, why the fuck my microphone is so loud? I'm sorry if you have like inconvenience pitch noises or something. Maybe I will just like put the microphone kinda away from me. Now maybe it's going to be better, who knows? I don't know what happened, but this is very, very weird. Weird microphone behavior and weird episode. This is like the weirdest episodes ever. Yeah. Anyway, maybe some fatal oversight had been made while preparing the breakfast, something that would shame the household in front of the guests. Natsuki took a deep breath in anticipation of whatever troubles she was about to hear of. When she opened the door, Genji once again gave a morning greeting, while bowing deeply. Natsuki tentatively responded.
おはようございます。何かありましたか？
申し訳ございません。昨夜の落雷で電話機器に故障が出たようです。
Okay.
内線電話が不通になっておりますもので、直接のお伺いになってしまったことをお許しください。
Makes sense.
内線電話が普通？それは面倒になりましたね。修理は可能ですか？
残念ながら故障箇所がわかりません。後で業者を呼んで修理させたいと思います。
ということは、 この台風が過ぎるまでは修理不能ということですか？
Kinda, and this is kinda bad thing.
つまり客人たちの滞在中はずっと普通ということですね。客人たちのお世話に支障は？
出ないよう最善を尽くします。
Yeah, like, phones are not necessary, like, here. I mean, there are just two houses, right? Like, separated per garden. So, yeah, it's not like you cannot contact with each other just by walking 5 minutes.
結構です。粗相のないようよろしく頼みます。
Natsuhi let out a small sigh of relief. She had been prepared for the worst, but the damage to the telephones wasn't the kind of troubles she was worried about. Then again, even this would probably be enough to spark sarcasm from Eva. Yeah, probably. She's like sarcastic about everything. She's like one of the best characters and one of the most evil characters at the same time. I said it many times, I just love her and hate her at the same time. Natsuhi gave her head a light shake.
朝食の準備は順調ですか？
それがゴーダの姿が見えません。
Yeah, I wouldn't say that before, but I'm kinda afraid what happened to him and to him. And I'm also afraid what happened to Shannon, because I think they are both like in the same wheel now.
朝食の支度もまだ行われておらず。
なんですって？
Natsuki was indignant. To her, that was much bigger problem than the telephones not working. And despite that, this piece of information was the part that had been postponed. Why did everything go well most of the time and then come to something like this when the relatives were visiting? Natsuhi put her hand to her forehead and shook her head.
大方朝寝坊でもしているのでしょう。とにかく誰でもいいから急いで朝食の準備を。
Natsuhi exited into the hall and turned around for a second to close the door to her room. The creepy thing she saw there silenced her completely. What the fuck is going on? It was an unpleasant sight, as though someone had dipped their fingers in a reddish black liquid and scratched the door around the doorknob. Okay, I don't see that yet. It was probably some sort of awful prank arranged by some person who wanted to make it look as though they tried to force the door with bloody hands. Oh my god. The charm from like Maria is actually working. Holy shit. Who would thought about this?
これは悪趣味な。
私も今ここにお伺いして初めて気づきました。後ほど清掃いたします。
大方趣味の悪い客人の冗談でしょう。
What if there's a like dead body in like some wardrobe or something now? I don't know.
不愉快です。実に不愉快です。
Is it Rudolph who died, maybe? Who in the world would pull such a childish and disgusting prank? Natsuhi had a pretty good idea, but of course there was no proof. So even if she pushed the issue, it would just seem as though she was making a fuss about nothing. You have a pretty good idea, so who exactly? Because I have no idea. Do you know about who is she thinking? In fact, it would surely be better to act as though she hadn't even realized that such a prank had been played on her. Natsuki gave the order to have it cleaned and headed off to the parlor with a squeak on her heels. When Natsuki and Genji arrived on the parlor, Iva and Hideyoshi were already there.
おはようございます、皆さん。
おはよう、夏日さん。朝食も合田さんが作るっちゅう話やないか。朝から胃袋が大喜びで騒ぎっぱなしなんや。
Yeah, about that.
本家の楽しみは食事くらいがせいぜいですものね。エヴァさんも朝からご機嫌がよろしいようで何よりです。
Yes. I got a little bit distracted by Iva there. With a wary expression, Natsuki returned Iva's gaze, which was fiercely competitive despite the early hour. Canon jogged in. After bowing an apology to the relatives for running inside the mansion, he noticed Genji and told him something in a small voice.
カノン、ゴーダはまだ見つからないのですか？
申し訳ございません、奥様。お屋敷内もゲストハウスも回ったのですが、まだ。
一体どこへ行ったというのです。とりあえず今はゴーダより朝食の準備が先決です。
Yeah, no one still recognized that Shannon is not there as well. That's pretty bad.
至急対応しなさい。
I mean, yeah, like for this whole situation, Goda is more important because, you know, he's supposed to make a breakfast and stuff, and Shannon, well, she was ordered to be in the guest house, and they don't know that she's missing, probably.
はい。
And if you can't find Shannon by random accident, then it still doesn't matter that she's gone somewhere, because you just didn't found her by accident. He was looking for Goda, not for Shannon at this point. So I can accept that they still didn't talk anything about Shannon yet. Kaon glanced at Genji. It seems he had something else to report, but was uncertain whether or not the words should come from him. Genji nodded and decided to give the report himself.
奥様、ゴーダだけではありません。旦那様の姿もありません。
主人が？
はい。奥様より先に旦那様に朝食の準備がないことをご報告しようと思い。
Okay, people starting to missing now.
それから旦那様だけではありません。
Okay, how many are missing?
ルドルフ様ご夫妻と
Oh my god.
王座様のお姿もありません。
Okay, Rudolph and Rosa. And Kyrie. Right? Kyrie? Kyrie, yeah. Sorry, I had to check the name because I wasn't sure if Kyrie or Kyrie or, you know, I don't know why. Maybe my brain is overheating.
ゲストハウスにも？屋敷にもですか？
はい。ゲストハウスの部屋にもおられません。
When she would hear that Goda Alon was missing, she would assumed he had slept in or was loafing around somewhere. However, now that she learned that several of her relatives were also nowhere to be seen, she began to take a slightly more optimistic view. Optimistic view? Could last night's family conference have been continued all night up until the present moment? If so, they might have wanted to cool their heads after being shut in a stuffy room, going out for walks on their own through the rain. Okay, that's reasonable, but still, Goda missing is not fitting there. The part about cooling their heads really sounded like something Kraus would say. Goda had probably been summoned to accompany them and aid them in some way. Okay, Okay, you have the point, Natsuhi. You have the point. Gouda was not a man who lost track of time. He had to understand that preparation of breakfast would be hindered if he did not return. That's true, and that's weird as fuck. Why he is not returning. However, maybe the family conference had continued until this very moment, with an atmosphere that would make it hard for anyone to sleep out. Yes, that theory would be quite convincing for Natsuhi. She remembered the illusion she would felt that morning, as though the previous night had never ended. When she learned that the feeling wasn't just an illusion, she once again took a deep, very breath. After all, that banquet of filthy vultures circling Kinzo property was still going on.
大方、庭園のどこか、あるいは海岸の方で相も変わらず遺産の話を繰り返しているのでしょう。とにかくゴーダを呼び戻さなくてはいつまでも朝食の準備が整いません。
Just, I don't kinda get it. I know he's like in charge of breakfasts, but I don't believe he's like the only person, the only servant in this whole mansion that can make breakfasts. So, like, good breakfasts. I don't believe it. Like, Genji is like a lot like, you know, older than Golda, and he have much more experience, probably. Also, Canon, he probably saw Golda making dishes. He could like help Genji doing that. Also, Kuwamasa-san, she could make a breakfast. So I see the wonder why they like missing the Golda and are afraid about this kinda. But I still don't see the point why no one else can do the breakfast.
ってことはなんや、兄さんたちの話し合いはまだ続いとるんか。
She planned to say it in a small voice, but Hideyoshi overheard Natsuhi and managed to grasp the situation.
兄さんもルドルフもタフね。ローザの場合は若さかしら。私たち夕べの24時過ぎにはもう眠くてベッドに戻らせてもらったんだけど、確かにあの時点でもまだ兄さんたちは熱論を交わしてたわ。
はあ。
男って熱くなると嫌ね。
I don't remember now when we had like these flashbacks, you know, these weird transitions on the characters. Did we saw Iva and Hideyoshi there? I don't remember when we had these flashbacks. If these two characters were in there. Were they already asleep maybe? Natsuhi snorted, her face still blank.
カノン、表を探してらっしゃい。ゴーダを見つけたらすぐに戻って朝食の準備をするよう伝えなさい。
かしこまりました。
夏日姉さん、表とは限らないわよ。お父様の書斎ってことはないかしら。
Kinda they can be, but there is very, very small chance that he would let anyone in. Unless something
なるほ
changed.
ど。考えられん話やないで。どういう話の流れかはわからんが、お父さんの主催に場所を移してお父さんにも混じってもらって議論を続けてるっちゅう可能性は十分あるやろ。
そのような汚らわしい話題を好んでお父様が書斎へ招き入れることなど考えられません。
Yeah, unlikely.
あらそう。じゃあ仕方ないわね。源氏さんとカノン君は申し訳ないけど外を探してきてちょうだい。確かに兄さんなら頭を冷やすために外を散歩しようなんて言い出しても不思議はないわ。たとえこんな天気でもね。私はお父様の書斎に行ってくるわ。ひょっとするとそこにいるかもしれないしね。客人であるエヴァさんに
そこまでのご足労はおかけできません。私が行ってきます。朝のご挨拶も兼ねて。
あら、じゃあお願いするわね。でも朝の挨拶を交わしてくれるかは疑わしいわね。夏日姉さんってお父様とは仲よろしかったかしら？
仲が良いかは分かりかねますが、後宮家の跡継ぎの妻を許されるだけの信頼を得ていると確信しています。
ならきっと返事くらいはしてくれるわね。お父様とは朝食くらいご一緒したいの。ぜひ降りてきてくださるよう説得してくれないかしら？
I don't think like anyone can do that.
私たちはすっかり嫌われちゃってるみたいだけど、そこまで信頼を得ている夏日姉さんの言うことなら聞いてくれそうですもの。
Eva is such a snake.
そこまで短歌を切ってお父様を説得できず、一人で降りてきちゃったりしたら、信頼を得ているなんて二度と言えないかもね。
Oh my god.
自信はありませんが、努力はします。
And Natsuki responded, looking discouraged. However, knowing Kinzo's temperament, she had absolutely no confidence in her ability to bring him out. Eva was clearly mocking her, confident Natsuki wouldn't be able to get Kinzo to calm down. But even so, Natsuki would lose face if she gave up saying it was impossible and letting Eva go instead. Eva mean-spirited. Eva's mean-spirited? Wait, what? Eva's mean-spirited. Okay, I don't get it. And unreasonable demand made Natsuki clench her fists slightly. Oh, mean-spirited. Okay, I get it. Okay, sorry, I had to like read everything. Oh my god, my brain is overheating, I think. This is too hot. I need to like open a window or something. When Genji realized this, he softly spoke to her over her shoulder.
奥様、よろしければこれをお持ちください。
それは？
Oh shit! Genji handed Natsuki a sparkling gold key of the ornate design. It was the key to Kinzo's study. The study had an auto lock and could be unlocked as long as Kinzo forbade entrance. However, since Genji was especially trusted by Kinzo, he was allowed to carry a key to that door.
でもこの鍵を使ったら、あなたも咎めを受けるのではありませんか？
Definitely. He may also like lose all of his like, trust he gained over the years.
親方様は深くお休みになられている時、扉を叩くくらいではお耳に届かないこともございます。それに親方様にお部屋を出ていただくよう説得するには、扉をぜひお使いください。
Genji. Until now, Natsuki had thought of Genji as a cold servant who wouldn't do anything for her, since he worked directly under Kinzo. But it looked like she would have to alter her understanding of him. She wanted to communicate her gratitude, but by then, Genji had already turned his back on her and was walking down the corridor with Kanon. But as Natsuki watched them go, the words directed at her from behind were sneering. Yeah, I can imagine that Eva getting pissed off because she got a key. Whew, that's going to be kinda dialogue, I guess.
じゃあお父様を必ず連れてきてね。息子のかわいい嫁の言うことですもの。きっと聞いてくれるわよ。私たちは客人だから、ここでのんびりくつろがせてもらうわ。
予算買えば口が過ぎるで。すまんが夏日姉さん、お父さんのことをよろしく頼むわ。
Okay, that was just her usual talk. It wasn't nothing ultra special piece of kind of dialogue I was expecting. Without answering, Natsuki forcefully spun around on her heels and quickly left the place. Okay. Let me just check something. We are missing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, now when I think about this, we are missing Rudolph, his wife, so Kyrie, Rosa, Kraus, and Genji. And probably Shannon, but I'm not going to count Shannon yet. So we have one pair, Rudolph and Kyrie. Then we would have another pair with Kraus and Natsuki, but Natsuki was probably protected by this charm. And then we have Rosa, who is single. We still don't know what happened to kids. Maybe Maria is missing as well, because, you know, she's part of the family. So for now we are missing 5 or 6 people if we count Shannon. And let me check here on the tips on the portrait epitaph. Yep, so Shannon is 6. On the first Twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. So it was. Like, each day will be one of epitaph stuff, so this is going to take 10 days, basically. So we lost 6 people now. And the next one, tear apart those who are close. So this is probably telling about like the friendships and something like they said in the episodes before. Or maybe just literally just kill them all. Yeah, we'll see, but yeah. I'm still like wondering why we are jumping to this when we still don't know the key. We didn't travel anywhere and didn't get the key. Huh. I'm still a bit confused about that part. Why we jumped into the first Twilight instantly. The one who does matter travel to the goal anchored with rules. Yeah. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments if we will get answers later. Or if not, then tell me what I'm missing. After all that excitement the previous night, there was no way anyone was going to wake up early. George and Nikki, Jessica and I were snoring loudly on the beds on the cousin's room. Okay, Maria is there. So yeah, I was talking about kids. We don't know if Maria were missing, but yeah, now we are talking with them. So yeah, only Shannon is missing as a 6, probably. But Maria, who had gone straight to bed without joining in, was completely awake. As she rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked around, she was met with the loud snoring of the other 3 cousins. For a while, Maria had to think about what had happened. After that, she realized that her mother wasn't with her, and she got lonely. Maria left the cousin's room, trying to head to the room that had been arranged for her and her mother. And actually on this sentence, I'm going to end the episode. I feel like there might be some story developing now from Maria perspective, so I want to leave that there and the part with kids for the next episode. So yeah, that will be it for the episode. Leave up a like if you liked the episode, or leave up a you know, dislike if you didn't like the episode. Also, you can, you know, always subscribe and leave the comment down below. Yeah, that will be it. And I want to thank you all for watching and hearing me babbling on this episode, and I will see you and talk to you in the next one. So for now, Pocket Watch is going out.